good morning and good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back again to one of our webinars. So let's say the first actually after the summer break and before the season starts, or we are already in the season now, in the sales season. And yeah, we would like to take the opportunity to introduce to you two new Denon AVRs. So with me, I have today Kevin in the back. He is helping me out with all the electronic and switching of the videos and so on. So a very important person, of course. And I do have Frederick with me. Hey, Frederick, how are you today?
Very well, very good. It's 4:30 here in the afternoon in Hong Kong, for those who would like to know where we're based. And I'm in the office for a change. So behind, I put something nice to display. We have the 2800, and I believe we have the 3800 with you over there, Oliver.
That's correct. Yeah, I have beside me the X3800 here. So we have the two models actually on display. However, it's quite tiny, I guess, on the screen. So don't bother. I will have some slides with larger images in my presentation. I would say we kick it off, right? Let's start. So as you can see, it's about the AVC-X3800H and the AVR-X2800H, the two new products which will come now to market in October. You might have seen first products already in the field because we did a bit of air shipment to some locations to steer the business and to also get early reviews, which I will come to at the end of my presentation, because we also have a very nice result already achieved with the reviews on these two units. Just for your information, for some regions here in Europe, we are selling the AVC X3800, while in other regions it might be the AVR X3800. The difference is just that the R has a tuner built in, an FM tuner, while the C doesn't have any tuner built in, except of course the internet connection and the internet radio. So let's first have a quick look to the AVR lineup, which we have right now. You see that we will have 4 new AVRs actually, and the focus is on 2838 today here. However, beginning of next year, we are going to add 2 more units, the 4800, which is of course the successor of the 47, while there is another one, our new flagship, the AVC-A1H, which will be in addition to the lineup of the current lineup. This means the X8500 will continue. For 48 and A1H, we will do separate seminars, webinars later this year, beginning of next year, closer to the launch of the products. So let's have a closer look to the cosmetic of these two units. As you will easily notice, there is no change to the current models. So 27, 37, they do look cosmetically identical. However, the changes do come when we have a closer look to the rear panels. We have the 28 on the right hand side and the 38 on the left hand side. You can see there are no analog video connectivity anymore. So we have taken these off because the use of these have been less and less. So we actually said it's not worth to put it on anymore. And we actually cleaned up the back panel for easier connectivity, or for an easier setup, improved connectivity. What you will notice is that especially on the 3800, we get some more connections on it because we extended the connectivity on the pre-out section, especially on the subwoofers, because we are now supporting 4 subwoofers, which I will come to later on. Let's have a closer look inside, just to show you we do have 2 different products. It's not just a different type number, but you easily can see the 3800 on the left-hand side is much more than on the 2800. Yeah, so what you can see on the top left of both products is these black heat sinks. There are 2 on the 3800, which are actually cooling the chipsets for the HDMI connectivity, for the HDMI processing, and the 3800 has 6 inputs, while for 8K, while the 28 comes with 3 inputs for 8K. Hence, we only have 1 heatsink on the 2800. So let's first go into let's say, the feature set, which is the same for both. So first of all, it's made for home theater enthusiasts. We know we have our big standing in the market as AV specialist, and we're actually market leader. So we really have strong offerings for our customers, for you as the dealers, but also our press do like the products very much. And yeah, and that's what we also always, of course, trying to keep in this way by having the best audio quality. We always put a lot of effort in the audio quality, but also by the best feature set. Let's see what's happened here on the 28 and 3800. We support the latest AV standards, of course. If you look to basic overview on some features, you will notice that on the 2800, actually, there's not really a lot of change when it comes to audio processing. So it still does 7-channel, it still does Dolby Atmos and DTS:X. However, especially on the 3800, we did a lot of changes to really, let's say, pimp up the product, to make it really a much better offer than it is today. By bringing down feature sets we already had on the 4700 so far, but not on the 3700. So you will notice the processing power we will get is 11.4 channels. As mentioned already, we will have 4 subwoofers. And we are going to add Auro 3D to the 3800, as well as MPEG-H audio and 360 reality audio. So these are nice additions to the already pretty good feature set of the 3800s, and makes it a much stronger offer. Let's have a look into the improvements. Very briefly, just as an overview here, I go into the details on the next slide. 8K support, it's extended, I already mentioned 3 times or 6 inputs on the 3800, capable of doing 8K. We have a new HD GUI, 1080p so far, only 480 resolution, but now we really pimped that one up and got ready for the 4K TVs of today, and even 8K TVs of today, with a nicer graphic, nicer fonts, sharper images. We got a new DSP set, that's especially on the 3800, which I already mentioned. We have a much higher capability here when it comes to audio formats, but also some other features. The 4 subwoofers also for the 3800. Of course, audio improvements, as we do every year. We're always tweaking our products to the best performance level, always following the Denon DNA in sound, being vivid, spacious, lively, punchy, into your face, so more forward orientated to the listeners. And then we have the new technologies also for the 3800 again. Already mentioned MPEG-H 360 reality audio, but as well DRAC. So I think that's also a very hot topic here, which I will elaborate a bit on later in the presentation. Sound improvements, vivid and spacious, lively, as mentioned. I'm not going to read out this feature list here, because you know we always work on it to replace the parts which we can't use anymore. We are looking for new parts which give us a better performance, and that's what we do. Power supply to the preamplifier stage, the DSP, the DA converter, and also, of course, the output stage. HDMI connectivity, 8K, 60 Hz, 4K, 120 Hz. It's fully supported, the full bandwidth. There's no compressed video we have to do. So it's full bandwidth we do support. 6 inputs on the 3800 and 3 inputs on the 2800. Then we have, of course, the monitor outputs, 2 of them, plus the Zone 2 on the 3800. Talking about the monitor outputs, I would like to make you aware of a nice add-on we have now on the remote handset. We extended the functionality by having the HDMI out button on the remote now. That means if a customer has connected a TV set and a projector, he now can easily switch the output signal. Means you can toggle through auto, where the AV receiver does it on his own, just checking where's the TV screen or projector connected and sending the picture out to the devices. If both are on, it will be sent in parallel. However, you can also now specifically select which output is used, and you can toggle between auto, monitor 1, monitor 2, auto. So that's a very handy feature in an extended setup in a cinema. And this counts for both units, of course. Then I'm very happy to introduce you to the new HD GUI. And for that, I'm now doing a bit of a change. We are going to change cameras. I will stop presentation, and I will just give you a live demonstration of our new GUI. So you should be now able to see the second camera in full screen, and I'm going to open up the new setup menu of our AVRs. What you can see now is the starting screen. You already can recognize that we now have background images. You can see the AV receiver nicely as a kind of watermark in the back. You have the new menu where you can see that the images are much sharper, or the text is much sharper. We have new symbols on the side to identify where we are in the setup process. If I go to speakers, I can now also enter here, of course, in the same way, the speaker setup like we have done in the past. However, it all looks much nicer and also has more, let's say, functionality, flexibility, which we completely overhauled as well the whole setup of the products. The setup assistant has been overhauled, but also the flexibility we have in the setup GUI is much wider now. Let me just go here to speaker configuration to also show you how nicely it looks with the new graphics, where we have the indication for the speakers. You can also see here, for example, the subwoofer output. That's now the menu, of course, of the 3800 having 4 subwoofer outputs. We now have the possibility here to select 1 speaker, 2, 3, or 4 even. And we have here a nice feature, which I'm going to explain you later on. It's a subwoofer mode. It can be standard, but we also have the possibility to change it to directional. I will come back to that one later. Just want to let you know here already. And maybe one more in the speakers. Oh, sorry again. This needs to be standard. And now I can go back and I can show you one more addition to the setup menu, the tactile transducer. So that's something I'm also going to explain you. And we have an output which we now can use for, let's say, a bass shaker, a butt kicker, however you call it, whatever you call it. Okay, that was just a quick one here. One more to show. I just want to go into general, because also here we have a nice add-on, a new feature. We have the owner's manual and accessible via the setup GUI. And we have a QR code which can be easily scanned, but we also mentioned the web address. So customer can type it in and directly gets the owner's manual. He doesn't have to search on the net for it. So it's very easy and convenient. So far on the setup menu here, that's the QR code I mentioned. And what we also did with the QR code, we put it in the setup assistant. So if you use the setup assistance, it will run you through the whole setup process. And it will also prompt you to download the app to have the good control of the unit. So you get it for HEOS, you get it for the Denon Remote App, and you also get it for the Odyssey Mighty EQ Editor app. Yeah? So for the customer who really wants to go a bit deeper into the audio settings, the Odyssey calibration settings, that's where the Mighty EQ app is for. Then we have another nice feature. You know, we have the Denon Remote App and the AVR Remote App, where you can do all the kind of settings. And we have a new feature here now, which makes it possible. You see it's actually there where the finger is pointed in the picture in the center. It's called web control. It's something new, which is already live. So you can already check it on the app today. It's not coming with an update. It's already out there. So you have web control. And if you press the web control button in the AVR Remote App, automatically the web control interface will open on your phone, on your iPad, and you have the same structure like it's done in the setup GUI, which I just showed you on the TV screen. But it's very easy to access, and it's very responsive. So I'm just going to open it here. You can't really see it well, but I just press the button, it immediately shows up here. And if I now go to the things I want to change, you see it's very responsive. This makes the setup for, I would call it, experienced user much easier, because you don't have to hook up a TV screen. You just can start doing the setup via the AVR Remote App, and you have the full access to all the feature settings, so all the settings you also see on the TV screen. What is not available via this one is, of course, the setup assistant, because it gets not mirrored, and also not the Odyssey calibration, because for that you will need to follow the guidance on the TV screen anyhow and plug your microphone in. So that's a very handy feature. Let's go to the next slide. Also very nice feature, which is mainly for you guys in the shops or for the CI installer. You know, if you take a product out of the box in shop and hook it up to power, you will get the message on the display, setup, use TV. And actually you can't really work with the product without a remote. You need to get the remote out of the box to cancel the setup assistant, or you have to connect the TV, but then you still need the remote to cancel this prompt, use the TV, or setup, use the TV. What we have done now is we have added a function. So if this information is shown on the display, you press and hold the status button for about 5 seconds, and this prompt will be cancelled, and the AVR turns into normal operation mode. So then everything is working like you have done already the setup of the unit. So I think that's very handy if you hook up a unit in the shop, or you want to stop or cancel the setup assistance because you're going to use the web UI or the AVR Remote App anyhow with the web controller. So web UI, also very nice features, but not very often used, I guess, or not everybody's aware of it. Actually, I showed you the web controller, which you can access now via the remote app. But you can also get this web UI if you enter the IP address of the product into your browser, and it will open up. And that's what I'm going to show you now as well, again, because IP address, how to obtain that one easily. We also had this task on our list, and what we are doing now is, if a product is in normal operation mode, so yeah, I said with 5-second status button, you can cancel the setup assistant. If the product is in normal operation mode, 5-second press of the status button again will show you the IP address on the display of the product. I'm just going to do it here now. Status button, and I will get the IP address of the product. So I press the status button, I get the IP address displayed. I'm going to type it into my browser here. You can see I already did it before. And if I press now enter, here we go. So we do have our web UI, and same like on the iPhone, you now do have access to all the settings you want to do. Yeah, so very handy, very responsive, very easy. And there's another feature which we added now, which is a so-called CI mode. With this advanced setting mode, we now have the possibility to activate or deactivate certain features. So imagine you have a cinema or AVC-X3800 installed in a cinema, and you're watching a movie over there. By coincidence, your son is playing with AirPlay and is selecting this receiver to play to. Your movie will stop. But of course, you don't want to. You don't want to get interrupted. So you have the possibility to just deactivate AirPlay. You set it to off, so the unit will not appear as an AirPlay device anymore. Let me change back to the presentation, because there you can see also the other options pretty well, which we can activate or deactivate. And here you can see it again. You can deactivate, for example, AirPlay, Spotify Connect, Bluetooth. You can actually even completely shut off the HEOS functionality. You can deactivate the remote app and so on. And another feature we have is that you can lock the menu, so that customer actually can't change the settings, so you can't screw it up, and you as an installer can be sure that the product is working as you set it up. And you can also lock the panel and even the remote. Yeah, so if you only want to give it control via a third-party system. So very nice feature for advanced installation for TI customers. And then we did a bit on the green side as well. So we changed our packaging, and we are now using just carton boxes which are FSC certified. So a little step here again to get more green. We're of course always looking into possibilities to do as minimum harm to the environment as possible. So just a summary here of the common features of the 28 and 3800 sound improvements. As explained, we always do. We extended HDMI connectivity, so there's no arguing anymore, oh, there's just one input. No, we have at least 3, or even all inputs are 8K capable. We have the new GUI with a 1080p resolution, which is really nice and gives a much better user experience, because it's not only the setup menu, but also all on-screen info. For example, what kind of sound mode is selected, which speakers are running, what video resolution, and so on, is also, of course, in the new high-definition format. Yeah. We optimize the assistant flow. Web UI, I showed you QR codes for the manuals, for the apps. RC got the HDMI output button to toggle through the outputs. We have the status button for the IP, which of course the status button also cancels the setup assistance if you want. You have the advanced CI mode and the packaging. And now I already mentioned before that especially the 3800 got a lot of improvements or changes, really coming down from the 4700. So let's jump into that one. What enables us to really get these additional power to the AVC-X3800 is of course the DSP, because this DSP has to handle all the different sound formats, all the processing, and the more powerful that one is, the more actually you can also add to the product itself on the feature side. And what we are utilizing here now is a Griffin Lite XP DSP from Shark. So, and it actually is tripling down from the flagship models, so where we actually use a Griffin Lite DSP, two of these, and this one now is even the newest version, the latest release of Griffin Lite XP. It's so powerful that we can add the features mentioned on the right hand side. One addition which is I think very interesting now is the Auro 3D. Yeah, we all know it from our top models. It's now tripling down one step further down to the 3000 series. And Auro 3D is very well known for the 3 layers actually. You have a floor layer, you have the height layer, and you have a top layer. And this really makes it a very nice immersive sound. And especially the upmixer, the Auro upmixer, is very well reviewed and has a very good reputation for even improved sound of Dolby Atmos or DTS:X signals. So that's really a strong argument for the 3800. We do have 11.4 channel processing now, which of course extends the capabilities 9 channel of amplification are built in. If you want to do 11, you just have to add additional pair or a stereo pair of amplifier, and you can do a full blown up system of 11.4. As you can see here again, the 8500 does 13.2, having 2 Griffin Light DSPs, while the X3800 is working with a Griffin Light XP DSP, and the 28 is using a Coyote. We have the support of 4 subwoofers, and we have the advanced preamp mode. I already showed you a picture briefly when demonstrating the new HD GUI. So that's a speaker setup with the new graphics. That's now the setup with 11.1, or yeah, you can also do 11.4, of course, where you do have all speakers installed. On the yellow framed area, that's where the pre-outs are defined. In this case, the pre-outs are set for the front speakers. So going to the subwoofer, that's quite a big change, even compared to all the other flagship models we have, because so far we always only had 2 subwoofer outputs. We are now featuring 4 of them, and there are different modes, as I already explained. We have the standard and the directional mode. In the standard mode, the subwoofers, all the subwoofers do actually get the signal from all the speakers. Means all the speakers which are set to small or set to, if the subwoofer signal is set to LFE plus main, this information, the low frequency information, will be spread to all of the subwoofers, and then it's is kind of individual level for the placement, but the signal is so-called standard. It's not directional. If we go for the directional mode, actually every single subwoofer, so if we, for example, go for 2 subwoofers and go for directional mode, we place the subwoofer left and right beside the front speakers. So in directional mode, the left front subwoofer will get deep tone bass information from the left front speaker, and the right front subwoofer will get bass information from the right front speaker. So by that we have the directional mode on the subwoofer. So the subwoofer is much more linked to the position in the room, to the speaker where it's linked to. And for example, if you do then 4 subwoofers, let me just go one further here. It's maybe easier to understand. So that's what I just explained. On the left-hand side, working with 2 subwoofers, front left, front right, you can actually divide your room into the blue and the red area. So in the left and right for the bass, you get a directional bass. And if you go even for 4 subwoofers, you get the blue, the yellow, the green, and the purple areas for your subwoofer signal. So that really gives you a nice possibility to distribute the bass sound in your room. So imagine you have a dinosaur coming from your rear right going to the front left. You actually can really feel the dinosaur going through your room. So we did this demonstration at the CDS show with Jurassic Park, and it was really impressive. So that's really a nice add-on to the capabilities of the 3800. The next one, tactile transducer, already showed you briefly. That's actually a butt kicker. You get an engine which you put underneath your seat, and you can direct a bass signal to it. And it actually gives you not only 3 but 4-dimensional sound then, because it shakes your seat, it shakes your sofa. And this can be used when you go up to 3 subwoofers in your system. The 4th subwoofer output can be used for a tactile transducer, and we can adjust the volume level and also the frequency, so that you really can optimize it to the sofa where the unit is installed to. And you can also define actually for which source it should work. Should it only be if you select the input of Blu-ray, or should also work if you select the CD and so on. So by that you can optimize your whole setup. Also very nice addition for the advanced cinema. Then let's go to the advanced preamplifier mode. So you know we already have a preamplifier mode on our 3000 and up AV receivers installed, and the preamplifier mode actually disconnects the pre-out completely from the power stage. But on the current model, it's only possible to do it all or nothing. Either you go all pre-out, or you keep the speakers connected at the same time. For the advanced preamplifier mode, it will be different. So you can select it actually per channel, and I'm going to explain it on the next slide. What you can see here, when I'm going to use the pre-outs anyhow. So if I have the AV receiver, I have enough power to drive my speaker, so all is good. However, some advanced users might want to have extra power for their speakers, for the front speakers, for example, because they have really huge front speakers and they want to pimp up the system. They are just going to add an additional external amplification. And then, of course, you use the pre-outs of the AV receiver, feed the signal to the power amplifier, drive your speakers. The situation we have right now, if the preamplifier mode is not active, so you can see in the yellow bar written connect. That actually means speaker and pre-outs are running in parallel, and the power amp connected actually puts a load to the pre-out. So I have stolen these nice graphics here from my Japanese colleagues because I found it in one way funny, and in the other way also so eye-opening the way they did it, that I think I can't do it really better. So if the pre-out and the power amplifier are connected, there's a load on the pre-out, and the quality of the pre-out will be degraded in a certain way because there's an extra load. You can see it by the weight here. If we now use the advanced preamplifier mode, we can say, okay, it's pre-out only. The switch is going to open, which means the power amplifier is disconnected. The load which was on the pre-out is taken away. So the quality we can achieve now on the pre-out is much better, because you can also run higher voltage out of the pre-out, which makes it possible to drive the external connected amplifier better. And that is how it looks on the graphic user interface and the speaker setup. You can really select for any channel, so be it front, center, surround, front height, rear height. You can define if the speakers are connected or if there is only the pre-out signal. So speaker plus pre-out or pre-out only. And this looks actually, this is how it looks actually in the measurements. You can see on the left-hand side, speaker plus pre-out is connected. Distortion starts earlier on the pre-out signal. So you can reach, let's say, distortion-free 1.4 volt. If you disconnect the speaker, so the amplifier actually, the internal one, and only have the pre-out only, the distortion starts much later. You can see it on the right-hand side, and you can gain up to 3.7 volt from the pre-out. Just to give you an example here, how it looks at the measurement side. And if you want to really use an external power amplifier, that's the way to go. Just select pre-out only, because you will get a better performance. Again, most likely a feature which is mainly used in higher grade installations, synesthetic customers, which really want to pimp up their system. But the option is built in, and even if a customer decides at the later stage, he still can do it. So we have the features, this functionality. So I think it's a pretty nice add-on here. Then let's have a look to Odyssey and Dirac upgradability option we have. So Odyssey will stay. Odyssey is our long-run proven room calibration system. We are very happy with the performance. We are very happy with the performance, the audio quality we can get out of it, how it manages a room correction. So that's all good. And very nice point here is that Odyssey is actually very easy to use. It's a free of charge room calibration system built into our receivers, where we also guide the customer through the setup assistance, through the whole room calibration. All he needs to do is put a microphone to the socket or the connector on the front, and he is ready to go. So very easy. If he wants to do a bit more on the calibration side, a bit of fine-tuning, we still have the option of the Mighty EQ app, so he can do his own customization. Dirac by its own, Dirac Live, is more the, let's say, professional tool. So we actually build it in because installers ask us to have this capability also on our receivers. And that was the main driver. It's not about what is the better room calibration system. It's about the capability or let's say, we are adding a functionality which was requested. We just want to open up the choice for the customer to use either Odyssey or Dirac Live, while as said, Dirac Live will be more for the professional. You can compare it a bit like we are only delivering the platform like we do for Dolby Atmos, DTS:X, or 3D, so we build it in. The choice is by the user to make what kind of calibration system he likes to use. Dirac we are going to add by a firmware update, which will come in spring 2023. Another nice thing is we have the speaker presets, speakers preset 1 and 2 for different themes. You can also use these presets to, for example, store Odyssey on preset 1 and Dirac on preset 2, if you like. So we have the full flexibility for the customer built in. If we look back on the Odyssey timeline, you see we already started in 2004 to implement Odyssey. And since then, this technology, of course, evolved, and we always added new functionality, new feature, new quality to it. Then we also brought into the field the Mighty EQ app, and now the latest edition was the Mighty EQ X, also for the professional installation via PC or calibration. For Odyssey, you have to connect the microphone to the AV receiver. With Dirac, that's also one of the reasons why it's so heavily requested by CI dealers. You connect the microphone to your computer. So you're independent from the positioning or location of your AV receiver. You can have it somewhere installed in a rack, somewhere in the basement. You're sitting in your cinema room and can do the calibration from remote, because the microphone gets connected to the PC. You run the calibration software on the PC. The microphone you connect is a dedicated one. It's not the one coming with the receiver. You can't use the Odyssey one, so you need to get a dedicated microphone for that. Just for clarification here. So long timeline on Odyssey. Dirac Live, how will it look like? So we have, as said, spring next year, we will have the Dirac Live integrated in the receivers and gives the customer the possibility to upgrade to Dirac Live. You have to buy a license to do the Dirac calibration. And what you see here is the blue area actually is what we are going to introduce in spring 2023. So that's about Dirac Live functionality. So that's a room correction. But Dirac is also offering a bass control feature, which we are going to add in a phase 2, beginning of 2024. The pricing you see here this pricing is defined by Dirac. So we don't have any influence on the pricing. That's the pricing theme of Dirac. So it starts with a limited bandwidth calibration system, calibration which goes then from 20 Hertz to 500 Hertz from the frequency range. So it comes for $259, while there's also full bandwidth calibration solution, which goes from 20 Hertz up to 20 kilohertz, which is $349. So these are the options we are going to add in spring next year. Okay, summary quickly again from the first part: sound improvement, HDMI connectivity, new GUI, user experience, advanced CI mode, new packaging. So that was this counts for both of the units. Summary for the 3800. Number one is for sure the more powerful DSP. Yeah, so giving us a capability of a signal handling of 11.4 channels. Yeah, adding Auro 3D 360 RA support. We're having the 4 subwoofers with the standard and the directional mode, which really helps you to tweak the room to your perfect bass performance. Tactile transducer if you want to have a butt kicker under your sofa. You have advanced preamplifier mode. Also here again, something the customer don't have to use, but if he wants to, there are options to even pimp up the system by external power amplifiers. And we make sure that we have the best performance by doing that. And then we have Direct Live as an upgrade coming in spring 2023. Just to mention again, Odyssey still is our number one room calibration system, and 95% of our customers we do expect will continue to use Odyssey as an easy setup, guided by the setup assistant, using the supplied microphone, very handy. If you want to go more professional, Dirac is available as an option. Dirac Live calibration is done via a PC, and the microphone will get connected to the PC, not to the AV receiver. So it's possible to do a remote calibration. This as a summary, and as mentioned just at the beginning, we had the chance to get some early products flown in from the first production, and we managed also to get the first reviews out. And I'm very happy to share these results with you, because it really underlines that all the effort we do on our products to keep them up to date when it comes to features and also on the sound quality really pays off. So, you know, pricing of these products increased quite a bit in comparison to the 2700 and 3700. And with what hi-fi is always sound per pound, so pricing is really critical. However, we still managed to gain 5 stars for the 2800 and also 5-star review for the 3800, even on the new price tag, because they say the performance it delivers is just so great, and the feature set is just so sufficient for the intended use. So very happy about that one. And then on top of that, yesterday we also got the Best Home Cinema Amplifier Awards for both units. Yeah, so what hi-fi is always doing, a selection of the best products they had in the year, and our 2 AV receivers have been selected for the best home cinema amplifiers in the price categories of under 1,000 and also in the category of 1,000 to 2,000 pounds. Very proud with this achievement. This was it on my presentation. I think we nicely managed to get it done in time. 45 minutes was the aim, and we did it in 50. Okay, sorry for the 5 minutes in addition. But yeah, we are now ready to answer your questions. So I will ask Frederick to jump in.
There's indeed a couple of questions and very good ones. I'm going to start with one. We've already mentioned it, but Gareth from New Zealand. What's the reason why we took the analog tuner out for the AVC models?
We checked user data, and the use of FM tuner was going down year by year, and we already started 5 years ago to take out the FM tuner from the X8500 unit, because with having network connectivity in it, having access to the internet radio, you actually also got a wide portfolio of radio stations already built in. And actually, for real cinema application, you don't need an FM tuner. So user data showed us that it's even slowing down the use. So it's meanwhile, I think it's below 3% that FM tuner is used on these kind of products. And we said, okay, let's stop it. Let's cover it with internet radio. Yeah, so we only keep the tuner capability now for 2800, 1700 units and the S models.
I see. Okay, question about HDMIs. Is the HDMI out parallel in both the HDMI outs, or is this a selection between 1 and 2, or what's the change?
Yeah, the change, actually it was the same before, that you could select via the setup menu or via the option menu, do I have to want HDMI 1, or do I want to have the HDMI 2 output, or do I have them just in an auto mode, so the AV receiver sees automatically or detects automatically what sync is on. The change actually is only that we are now having a button on the remote to easily toggle between HDMI 1 and 2 or the auto mode.
Understood. Okay. Question from Manoj in the Philippines. Why is there no option for whites in the speaker settings for the 3800?
Yeah, that's not, so if you want to have the whites, you have to go up in the lineup. So it's not supported by the 3800, 4800.
That's right. That's in terms of the number of channels, I believe.
Right. Yeah.
Can you access the web GUI from an external network to help customers like Remote X? We do have 2 systems. We support Oversee and Domods to do serial remote management, but how would you be able to implement this with web GUI at all?
So via Domos and Oversee, you can access remotely. It's not possible just by adding the, you need, let's say, an interface in between. It's not a direct connection possible from remote.
So how about the crosstalk between the internal amp and the signal when used in preamp mode? Usually, the question is the internal amps will automatically shut down when used in preamp mode, the possibility for crosstalk. So how did we manage this?
Yeah, in crosstalk, you always have the risk of crosstalk. And that's why our circuit layout, the design, let's say how the tracks are on the PCB, on the circuit board are laid out, is done in a way to minimize crosstalk. You can't always avoid it completely, but we are trying to minimize it by the way we arrange the layout on the boards. If you now disconnect an amplifier and just running the signal through the pre-out, of course, this amplifier doesn't get the audio signal anymore, which means, of course, it's generating less crosstalk to the channels which are left and right beside it. Yeah, so that of course helps to, in a certain way, also improve the performance.
Right, and speaking over performance, you mentioned 1.4 volt, which is pretty good for an AVR with the amplifiers on. This 1.4 volt, how is that in signal to noise ratio? How is it rated? The signal to noise ratio and distortion?
Yeah, it was the distortion level, which was on the graphic. I'm not sure if it was. So normally we do these. Yeah, you could see that actually it was jumping up quite quickly. I think it's done by 0.05% distortion level.
Understood. Okay. Next question. Has there been any improvements to the Odyssey and how it calibrates on these new models? Or is it the same, just extra support for subwoofers? I think that's probably a question for Jeff Clark. We can have a complete separate session for that. But in short,
yeah, In short, yeah, of course we have to do some adaptation to cover the subwoofers, the four subwoofers now, but in general there's no big change on the Odyssey.
But it is confirmed that Odyssey can calibrate the four subwoofers individually, whether
Yes,
you do this through the app or even with the remote app, the Odyssey iOS or Android app as well, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, that's another question answered. Let's have a look. Are we looking to add more support for Google Home voice commands in the future? Also for the receivers. I don't think the limitation is with the receivers. The limitation is with the voice support agents like Google Voice and Alexa, right?
Right, yeah. So let's say Alexa is in this respect more advanced because it's supporting much more controls. Google is very limited, unfortunately. I don't see it coming in the near future that we are really improving on Google voice control.
What are the DACs used in this time? I think we've mentioned this. Maybe you can quickly recap.
Yeah, no, we didn't mention the presentation, but the DACs we are using are stereo DACs from Texas Instruments, PCM 5102. Yeah, so these are the DACs we also used in the former models.
That's right. Okay, question from Puneet. Are AVRs having dedicated connectivity for karaoke mics? That's a different application, I think, right? If you would want to do karaoke with an AVR, you would need a mixer or a preamp that preamplifies your microphones, I suppose.
Yeah, so I think that's actually you will have to connect the karaoke machine to it via the HDMI input, and the rest was done actually by the karaoke machine. So there's no dedicated microphone input or anything in this respect.
Okay, question from Tim. Will these models support Spotify Hi-Fi, if such a thing ever existed? That depends on Spotify if they're going to launch it or not. Yeah.
We are ready.
So we're ready to upgrade when they provide it, exactly.
Yeah.
So at what point in the model will there be more than 2 presets for room correction? I think it speaks speaker set 1 and 2. I don't think there's more than just 2 speaker setups, right?
Correct, yeah. So there are these 2 presets you can use. If you use Dirac as a calibration, Dirac itself has additional, I think, 3 presets you can do.
Is Dirac already installed and usable on the AVR-3800? So no, it will be coming with a firmware update in March. Any reason why we went with Bluetooth version 4.2 and not with 5.0 or higher?
What is the benefit of 5.0 or higher? So I think the only difference actually is if you would go for aptX as a Bluetooth, while there's no, let's say, audio advantage if you go for 5.0 or higher.
That's right. Okay, one more. Will any of the AVRs be coming with a backlit remote?
Oh, the flagship, the AVC-A1H, will come with a backlit remote.
Okay, another question from Robert. Can you save directional sub in a quick select mode?
I can't answer.
That's something we'll need to investigate. Yeah,
I think that's a very special requirement. What of course you can do is you can make it a preset 1 and a preset 2 if you like. Yeah, then you can change between standard and directional by selecting different preset. I don't think it's covered in the quick select, because that will, actually the quick select will then have to change the speaker setup, and I think that's not going to happen.
We know that Dirac is doing phase alignment. Does Odyssey perform phase alignment?
I'm lacking a bit the details on the Odyssey way of correcting the room. I can't answer that one. Frederick, do you know? Maybe by coincidence, out of your head?
I'm not too sure either. I think I understand that Derek is doing face alignment. I'm not sure. It's also working different in terms of calibration with impulse responses. That's
right.
A different technique than Odyssey does, but we can look it up. We can check with our friend Jeff Clark and go a bit more in detail. We have the questions, so anything that's unanswered, we'll look it up, we'll check it out for you, and we'll post it back. And that's also another question if we have any downloadable deck or a PDF. So we will make this PDF available in the follow-up email. Let me see if there's any other questions coming in before we move. I think we're 2 minutes above the allocated time, but that's all right. About butt kickers, we have one channel of butt kickers, but how many seats could you activate in a cinema? I think that really depends on the butt kicker system, right?
I think so too, yeah. I don't know. So maybe there are also some butt kickers where you can actually daisy chain the signal to the next one, and by that you can have 1, 2, 3 butt kickers installed.
That's also answering his last question about the transducers and how many seats can be connected. So we've answered that. Are there any trigger functions in the AVRs? DC triggers?
There is trigger on the 3800. 2800 it isn't.
Have we removed the phono input on these AVRs?
No, sorry, didn't mention. They stay, of course, on board. Phono MM.
Right. The only thing we removed is 2 coaxial digital inputs on the 2800, but it's still there on the 3800, right? So the 2800 only has 2 optical inputs.
Yeah, for the European market, it was always that way. So we only had the 2 optical ones. The AVR models in the US, they do have 2 coaxial in addition. Yeah, the only thing we really removed was the analog video.
Okay, I think that's it. We've covered everything. No, there's one more. Does the 3800 support 5.1.6?
Yes, you can do this setup. Yeah, so of course you need additional amplification. Yeah, because we have 9 channels of amplification built in, and you will need 11.
That's it. We've covered all the questions. I think we can close the session. Do you do the honors?
I will just do bye-bye. Have a nice day. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time, and good sales. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Take care, guys. That's it for now. Bye-bye.